Welcome back to another episode of Lost in the Farmer's Market Garden Shorts. This is our first full-length episode that has been filmed in 2021. We've been doing shorts and other things, but here we are back to the old format, and today's subject is this right here, this bushy bass. This plant is scientifically known as Apium graveolens. It's celery, and the variety is conquistador, which is the winter celery. Here at the Test Gardens we grow two types, and I'm going to rotate the camera just a little bit. There we go. You can see this type over here in the corner, that is Tango, which is my warm season type. Now, celery is in the Apiaceae family, which means it's related to dill, fennel, parsley, carrots, angelica, anise, caraway, coriander, cicely, and chervil. So basically it's in the parsley family, which is the most famous member of the group, or carrots, equally famous. Now this celery is originally from the Mediterranean, but the seed moved by human transportation as early as 4000 BCE. Its USDA zones are 4 through 10, though some varieties can withstand zones 3 and 2. It prefers a soil pH of 6 to 7.0. Its exposure should be full sun, but it will tolerate part shade. Its height is 12 to 18 inches tall, with a width of roughly 4 to 6 inches, though these plants seem to not be paying too much mind to that 6-inch thing. They're almost 8 inches. These are individual heads, and there are 4 of them in there. Now, what's interesting is that the average time to maturity for celery is 120 to 130 days. This is mature, whereas this little one over here is not so much, but it was kind of buried and stunted. Hopefully it'll catch up. What's interesting about celery is that it is very frost hardy. These shrugged off even that super 25-degree frost we had between the 31st of March and Easter, shrugged it all off. There is no damage seen anywhere on this plant. When it comes to celery, I mean, the stalks, the leaves, the seed, and even in the case of its cousin celeriac, or celeriac, I've never been sure how to pronounce that, the root is eaten. Now, celeriac, I'm going to get it eventually. Celeriac is a variety of celery that is bred for a large, lumpy rootstock. It's used in seasoning, soups and things like that, you know. Ironically, normal celery is used in much the same way. Now, historically, the word celery first appeared in English in 1664. And the word celery is derived from the French word celery. For spelling, that's C-E-L-E-R-I. Which is then derived from Italian celery, S-E-L-E-R-I. The plural, which is the plural form, the singular form is Celero, S-E-L-E-R-O, and I know I'm probably mangling that. What's interesting is that the two earliest forms of the word come from ancient Greek, selenon, that's the Romanized version, I cannot pronounce the Greek version with the Greek letters, while before that, the Mycenaean Greek was serino, broken up into 3 words with a hyphen in between them, S-E-R-I-N-O. So it's been around a long time. Now, the wild forms of celery are called smallage, and there is a wild celery, a true wild celery. Smallage itself was known to exist as a dietary food item in China as of the 5th century. So celery has a long history with humans, traveling all over the globe wherever we go. It's amazing, really. But we're going to tackle one myth here, something we don't normally do, but there is a myth about celery. It is said in dieting circles and other places that celery is so bereft of nutrients that you burn more calories digesting and chewing it than you would ever get from it. This is a lie. And here's why. Per 100 grams, or 3.5 ounces of celery, you'll get 2.97 grams of carbs, 0.17 grams of fats, 0.69 grams of protein, 2% of your daily allotment of B1, 5% of B2, 2% of B3, 5% of B5, 6% of B6, 9% of B9, 4% of vitamin C, 2% of vitamin E, 28% of vitamin K, and it gets better. You get 4% of your daily allotment of calcium, 2% of copper, 2% of iron, 3% of magnesium, 3% of phosphorus, 6% of potassium, that's 260 milligrams, 80 milligrams of sodium, which is 5%, and interestingly enough, celery is 95.43 grams of water per 100 grams. So all of this is soluble and easily accessible for your body's digestive system. Celery, in fact, is packed with nutrients. The myth that it is nutrient-free is a lie. Who perpetrated this? I don't know, but it has been part of diet fads over the years, and a common snack in grade school is to put peanut butter and raisins on celery stalks, which is good and well with store-bought, but let me tell you, homegrown is an entirely different experience. Store-bought is kind of it's kind of bland. It doesn't taste like much. Homegrown has a strong peppery taste. These leaves can sometimes be tough, especially if you pick them at the wrong time of the year. And as you can see, and I'm going to move some stuff around with my stick of destiny. Well, maybe not. These plants are airy, upright, and they look like they're often mistaken for Italian parsley because, of course, they're in the same family and they look alike. But this is, again, the start of a new season of shows, so stay tuned. Celery is the second item up this year, I believe, if not third, not counting minis. So stay tuned. We're going to talk about more stuff. As always, folks, hit the like and subscribe if you like this, and as always, keep them growing. Thank you.